Massive game in the Premier League. Chelsea versus Tottenham. Huge game for both the sides when we're looking at league position. For Chelsea to stick with Liverpool and stick with City, they need a win. Obviously, with Spurs' games in hand in the Premier League, the race for the top four is on. Conte's side has been very, very impressive. If you look at the numbers behind the scenes, expected goals and expected goals against, Spurs are ranked third behind City and Liverpool in both of those statistics. I think it's a big one tactically from both the sides, who comes in, who plays, and how it's all going to look. Chelsea have been kind of experimenting with a 4-2-2. That hasn't worked at all. The game against Brighton in the Premier League, Chelsea's 1-1 draw. The 4-2-2 just didn't work. It was completely exposed on the flanks. The pressing was all off. So I kind of expect Chelsea to revert to this back five shape. But what we could see is a 3-5-2 in a sense of defensively 3-5-2, offensively 3-4-1-2, with Mason Mount moving to that attacking midfield position to play behind both Lukaku and Werner. From a tactical perspective for Spurs, expect a 3-5-2. I think we've seen that in big games. Bergwijn, I imagine, might start after his big contribution off the bench in Spurs' 3-2 victory over Leicester City. 2 goals after 90 minutes, but his finishing was really good. And Conte spoke about Bergwijn before being a forward and seeing him as a forward in there and kind of like looking at it. As the party is getting started, guys, let's get some GGs in the chat. BH is back. Let's get this party started. BH, let's get this tactical party started. Let's jump back into the tactics. Bergwijn as a forward for Conte. There were rumours of him trying him as a wing-back, but I feel as a forward, ahead of Harry Kane could really work. Harry Kane's playing some of his best football he's played in recent weeks. And I really think that he's the type of player to really kickstart this season or kickstart this kind of Conte revolution in there. We know he's got the goals, he's got the assists, and now he's really providing that in. Chelsea do need to sort themselves out. We know how much of a brutal owner Abramovich is. What I wouldn't want to see is Tuchel losing his job. That would be absolutely shocking. But 1 win in the last 7 Premier League games isn't good enough. Obviously, he's tried this kind of 4-2-2 shape, but I think we will see a kind of, as we mentioned, that Mason Mount moving from a defensive to an offensive position. I feel like with Lukaku and Werner, having them as a partnership is very, very important. Lukaku played his best football in Serie A with a partner in Lautaro Martinez. That's where I feel he needs that close proximity of a forward he can play off. He had that chance against City where he could have pulled the trigger, left-hand side of the box, could have simply, gone for goal across the keeper, as we would expect Lukaku to kind of do. But he didn't. He went for the pass. He looked to try and slip Hakim Ziyech in. I feel like having Werner in and around him will allow Lukaku to maybe be, a little bit more greedy in there, knowing that his strike partner will be more alive for the shots on goal, for getting those rebounds in and so forth. That is very, very important for them. Goals have been a massive struggle for Chelsea this season. You take last summer, they bought Havertz and Werner, and Jorginho was the top scorer. This season, a similar thing. They've bought Lukaku, and they've already got Havertz and Werner, and Jorginho still the top scorer, which is a big, big concern for them. Mason Mount has been a man in form, already equalled his best goals and assists tally in a single championship or Premier League season with 5 goals and 7 assists. And he's someone I feel like him as a 10 behind Lukaku and Werner on a back three is going to be important. I'd probably say maybe getting Werner's raw pace up against Davis and playing Lukaku on the left side of the front two could be a really good way to open up the right-hand side for Werner to play natural and then get the ball across to Lukaku. Obviously, the big thing with Chelsea, the loss of the wing-backs has been huge. The quality of Reece James, the quality of Ben Chilwell for Chelsea this season has been a massive, massive, positive for them. Both those guys are injured. Chelsea have really struggled to find, the balance in attack and defence. I think one of the big things with Alonso defensively, pretty poor, and with Azpilicueta going forward, you're not getting that same output as Reece James. Defensively, it's absolutely sound, but going forward, you're not getting that same goals and assists output that we've seen this season. I think for another option of Kai Havertz playing that right-sided role instead of Werner, I also think would be quite good. It is quite strange that he's not playing this season, having had such a big contribution in the Champions League final. You'd think that that would give the trust of Thomas Tuchel. Obviously, COVID has stop-started his season and injuries, but the quality to drift and to play wide and to create from that inside channel. One of the big things with Havertz at Leverkusen, he played as like a Raumdeuter on the right-hand side at times, playing and then coming in onto that right foot, but also runs in behind the defence. I feel like Chelsea need that right now with their... And it's going to be difficult for Spurs to kind of deal with that threat of Werner or of Kai Havertz. Offensively for both sides, the wing-backs and how that battle comes on is going to be important. Obviously, we've seen Emerson play on the right-hand side, but I think he's disappointed Conte in recent months. Big news that, obviously Adama Traore set to leave Molineux this window. He'll be a massive upgrade on the right-hand side. But maybe in the short term, Matt Doherty could be the guy. Got an assist in the last game against Leicester for the first Bergwijn goal or for the equaliser. I think in this midfield three for Spurs is going to have a lot of work to do. Winks has showed a good range of passing, playing as more of an 8 than a 6. He did that against Liverpool really well. I feel like he's got to do that again, either linking it into Harry Kane or playing over the top to Bergwijn to spin Chelsea. Chelsea, in a way, look a little bit vulnerable, maybe more making those runs, should we say. So Bergwijn coming from that sort of right striker position back inside and then running across Thiago Silva, using that pace to try and, create that bit of space. Also, Jorginho is going to have a big task if Harry Kane plays a little bit off the line, as we've seen. I think that Harry Kane is very suited to a two-man strike force at the moment. And having that creativity and ability to hit a man and then play through, I think is going to be really, really important. But in terms of statistics, only Thierry Henry has scored more goals in London derbies than Harry Kane. Henry's scored 43. Kane is on 39. But Kane is also closing on Henry and closing in on Lampard in terms of Premier League top goal scorer. So that's kind of exciting to see that go. But Jorginho is going to have a big job to try and block that space with Kovacic. Kovacic is another interesting one that seems to excel in these high-octane games with his tackling, with his intercepting. Against Liverpool, completed 100% of his tackles and dribbles. Kante in there as well. The flip side of that workman-like midfield with Kante and Kovacic, it worked so well against Liverpool. Against City, less so. Obviously, Kante got span by Kevin De Bruyne. So maybe Jorginho does come in for this game. The other side of it as well is maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi's impact off the bench could be quite big, be it a wing-back or attacking midfield. But that's kind of like breaking it down from a tactical perspective where the game's going to kind of be won or lost. I think it's Werner and Lukaku's contribution on that Spurs back three. I think it's Mason Mount at number 10. For Spurs, it's Bergwijn's pacing behind, Harry Kane linking the play, and obviously battle at wing-back. So whoever wins the wing-back battle, Azpilicueta and Alonso or Doherty and Reguilon, that's who we will see will win and lose this tie. In terms of one last statistic, Rudiger has played more progressive passes than any other centre-back in the Premier League this season. And that is that, guys. Get your score predictions into the comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Let's do it.